The soldier's hands were very strong. Swollen joints, bulging knuckles, calloused brown palms, and dozens of healed-over cuts told the story of a violent life lived in service to Caesar. They were hands hardened to kill, and the soldier's heart had taken on the same calloused nature. He had seen so much death and participated in so much killing that it was difficult for him to feel anything for the many men who had died by his hand. How many men had he restrained, pleading for their lives, whimpering for mercy as spikes were driven through soft flesh and cracking bone? He had lost count long ago. Crucifixion was his routine. He knew the best placement of the spikes through the wrist and ankle to guarantee the victim would remain suspended on the crossed beams. He knew which kinds of wood would best hold the weight of the criminals. He could estimate with alarming accuracy the length of time it would take for the victim to die. The criminals who received this punishment seemed to him to be the same man over and over and over again. These criminals would act out the same scene every day with very little variance. "Please have mercy," they would cry. "I am innocent," they would plead. "You monster, you animal," they would shout. Disgusting, guilty creatures, sniveling, unrepentant, self-serving cowards. He didn't even recognize them as humans anymore. He never even looked them in the eyes. They deserved what they got. The world was far better off without them. But it was with his hands that the soldier first felt there was something different about this victim. There was no struggle. There was no attempt to escape. This criminal's body was lean and powerful, and his hands looked a great deal like the soldier's, thick, calloused, and strong, scarred by a lifetime of heavy manual labor. He had already driven the spikes through each wrist and was preparing to drive the last through the man's ankles when he realized, with the tilt of his head, this man had never made a sound. No pleading, no whimpering, no cries for mercy. He quickly checked to see if his victim had fainted or whether he had already died, but the victim's chest rose and fell with each labored breath, and his gaze was fixed in a surprising expression of sadness and determination. When he did finally speak, the words seemed so foreign, so unlikely to the soldier, that he had to stop and take a few moments to work out for himself whether he had actually heard what he thought he had heard. "Forgive them, Father. They don't know what they're doing," whispered the man pinned to the cross. So for those few hours, the soldier stood guard over the crucified man. He watched the sun go dark. He felt the earth tremble. He watched the crucified man show mercy to his tormentors, to his grieving mother, to the men crucified on either side. And in the darkness and gloom of that day, a calloused heart had no choice but to soften. Truly, this is the Son of God.